Well, hello there, guys, and welcome to some more Strategic Command World War One. We're going to be doing something quite interesting for this particular Let's Play, and that is specifically that we are going to be playing with the awesome Tortuga power. I'm just so proud of how this guy has brought his channel along. He used to just be a fan of mine. He's now started his own strategy channel, and he is very close to actually even surpassing me. So, again, I've got a lot of respect for the guy. Please check his channel out and follow his side of this Let's Play, which is going to actually be quite an interesting side of the Let's Play. It's going to be the Entente. So we want to see if we can't beat him. Although, I will say Tortuga is quite talented. He's quite a good player. I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Now, as you can see here, I get to decide essentially what to do with my forces, and I know this Eastern Front is a real pain. I also know that we could potentially break through the Eastern Front and cause him just a little bit of confusion. So that's going to be the deployment phase for us complete, and we're going to turn it over to Tortuga. A successful advance into Serbia, seizing Belgrade and Niš, will encourage Bulgaria to enter the war on our side. But we must hold our eastern frontier, for Russian advances may entice Romania into entering the war against us. Romania is also an important food source, so war with that country could also lead to hunger and low morale at home. We really do want to try and avoid Romania. Now, the thing is, we are thinking of potentially going ahead and starting to take Belgium, but we could avoid taking Belgium and simply add that and make that an additional part of the front. But I really think that we should try and jump into Belgium and try to just take as much of this territory as possible to make essentially a secondary front against Tortuga power. So I am going to go to our diplomacy here. I'm going to go to Belgium, and I'm going to declare war. Yeah, the Krieg begins, Belgium. Prepare for invasion. So, of course, the UK is going to join the Entente. Pretty straightforward here. We are going to push immediately to grab a number of different areas. We're also going to grab Luxembourg. But for now, I'm just going to start setting up here on the Belgian front, essentially. We can actually break through Liège and attack. Move this unit back. And I'm going to see if we can bring this guy into Liège, which would be perfect. Finish off the enemy right there. Now, of course, we're also going to be taking Luxembourg, and I think we'll push right over there, although we have stepped into the enemy zone of control, so I will admit I'm not exactly 100% happy with this move. It may work, it may not. We'll have to wait and see. I think this, secondary line is okay. Try to bring some more units forward, of course. And I think it's going to be really important while we're facing especially another player for us to essentially try and keep a double line at all times here on the front. We want to always have this double line going. That's going to be very important. And actually what I'm going to do, bring this unit over here to Mulhausen. And I am just going to start entrenching along the line. So we can let them move forward here. I'm not minding that. I just don't want them to get to the Black Forest. We just want to start making those trenches all over the place. And we'll move these soldiers where they're needed, essentially. I think that's the best way to deal with this. Entrench. This guy's already moved, so he's not going to be doing much entrenching. We can entrench here. I think the only one we may have messed up on is this one right here. He may get gobbled up. Not the greatest attack for us. While we're at it, might as well bring these bombers a bit closer. And you know what? We should bring all of these infantry units from Frankfurt closer, although maybe we'll need them in the east. We know that we always have a lot of issues with the Russians. So you know what? I'm actually going to do a little bit of defending right now, just setting up defenses here on the Eastern Front. But I'm thinking of potentially bringing those units over here to the Eastern Front. They might be more useful over here, frankly. Let's see. That's the forced march. We don't want the forced march. This is what we want, the operate. And we're currently not getting that option. But I'm going to start moving that way. So we'll move towards Nuremberg now. We should also perhaps, we can't do it right this second, but we should perhaps get prepared for the possibility of Italy joining the war against us, of course. We won't make that front yet, but that is a front that I eventually want to get to. I'm even tempted to move towards Lodz. Just want to see what they have here, as you can see. But I will stay on our side of the river if I can help it. Entrench right here across the river. As you can see, this is where I really want to keep most of my most of my infantry positions. And over here on our Austrian front, we're going to have to do the same thing. Krakow is going to be extremely important to us, so I want to hold it. It's on this side of the river, so potentially we could try and push near Ivangorod and sort of see what it does. We can also push south here and just kind of test the enemy, and I think that's what I want to do. I just want to test, see what he's got over here, maybe make Tortuga think we're going for an offensive and force him to sort of react here. That would be the best case scenario. Of course, I am trying to defend that glorious oil field, number one, the Galician oil fields. We want to keep this as safe as possible, and I also want to try to defend Lemberg, this city over here. Let's cut through to Proshkorov. So we actually took that quite easily, and I'm going to bring these cavalry corps, a bunch of Austro-Hungarian hussars, to the front as well. I'm going to send this cavalry corps south to deal with the Serbs. Now, I had such difficulty last game dealing with Serbia. I'm really hoping we find an easier way to break through here. But right now, man, Serbia seems like almost an impossible enemy to beat. It's just, you know, they have such difficult terrain to really deal with. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get over here, make sure they don't try and take Sarajevo back. And I'm going to start attacking Cetinje here. I actually may or may not bring an additional unit here to attack Cetinje, but I feel like without some sacrifices on our side, we're just never going to get through here. So that's going to be sufficient for now. Obviously, we'll sort of switch things around. We also have quite a lot of ships that we have available on both fronts, but before I decide what to do with those ships, I don't know, I really have to think about this for a bit. I will take the units from Cuxhaven and start bringing them over here to the east. We're going to have to bring quite a few units to the east, including the reserve corps here. So once we're able to move them, we will. And I'm going to start heading out here into the Dagger Bank. I'm looking for British ships, but knowing Tortuga power, I'm going to let him make the first move. So I'm going to leave some bait out here. But meanwhile, the rest of our ships are going to be ready to advance. And of course, with our submarines, I'll try to get them as soon as possible to the enemy lines. I'm going to try to just sneak right by. Unfortunately, it looks like we did stumble across one of his battleships. We got away because it's not a destroyer, but we want to be very aware of that in the future. And I'm going to be bringing the rest of these light cruisers and destroyers over here just to respond when we need them. Now, another thing that I think is essential in this game, absolutely essential, is research. We've got to get that infantry weapons and infantry warfare. Insufficient funds, so we're going to have to wait a bit. Let's see if we can start pushing the Austro-Hungarians. Nope, we are going to have to wait. We have 0 MPP available. Got to win some battles, destroy some enemy units to actually bring that up a bit. But so far, I'm fairly happy with how we set up. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and of course, the next turn is going to be on Tortuga Power's channel, so I would ask you guys to please go over there, check it out, and make sure to let him know that Agrippa sent you. Let him know that the glorious Central Powers will come out on top in this conflict. I hope so anyway. Thanks again, folks. Alright guys, actually just a little bit more. Our Mittelmeer Division, whose flagship is the Goulben battlecruiser, is currently in the Mediterranean sailing towards Constantinople. It is recommended that the Goulben continue on to Constantinople, where it will be taken into service with the Ottoman Navy and renamed the Yavuz Sultan Selim. We're of course going to allow this, and this is going to be a catalyst for bringing Turkey, or the Ottomans, to our side during this conflict. Now, General von Ermoli and the 4th and 7th Corps of our 2nd Army are currently en route to Novi Sad and Temesburg near the Serbian border, where they will deploy shortly to take part in the invasion of Serbia. However, deploying them there may leave with insufficient forces facing the Russians, therefore it has been suggested that we send them to the Russian border instead. No, we're going to fight in Serbia. We need these guys on the Serbian front. We know just how tough the Serbian front can be, so we're going to put the 2nd Army right there. And hopefully these guys will help us make a really strong push to take Serbia quickly. French mobilization continues. Russian mobilization continues. We've got a lot of enemies in this conflict, but we're prepared for every single one of them. Alright, beautiful. Another general here in Austria-Hungary, and a unit raised in Tarnov. France increases its arms production in the southwest. That's really not gonna, well, it's not something, we can't do anything about it. It's certainly gonna affect us. And the UK is now sending supplies to the Russians. Well, guys, it is time for Tortuga's turn, so go check.